What is up, beautiful people? So for today's topic, I want to talk about doing a bodybuilding show. And this can be for any category, bikini, figure, physique, whatever you want to do. This is just kind of general tips that I have for someone who has made the resolution to do a bodybuilding show. It is something that should not be taken lightly. It's not something that you should just say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do it. And this is not me discouraging you from it. If you are going for it, I hope the very best for you, and I hope you have an awesome prep and you get out of it what you're looking for. But let's just go ahead and dive right into the video. I do have a few things. As always, I have my list, so I'll look down here and there, but let's get into it. So the first thing is, what is your why? Why do you want to do a bodybuilding show? Why do you want to go through a prep? And if your answer is because I want to be shredded, please do not do a prep. And I know that sounds really weird. I actually got turned down by the very first coach I ever approached because that was my why. And I'm not saying that because he said it, but now that I've gone through 2 separate preps, done 3 shows, I see why. Because just wanting to be lean, that mindset is not going to get you very far in a prep, because you're not going to see the results as quickly as you're going to want to. You're gonna kind of struggle. It's a lot more of a mental process. So you need a strong why. I've shared it in my other videos. I have a big reason why. My biggest reason is I want to show other women that it's okay to have muscle and it's okay to be strong as a female. Because sometimes we get told to not be too big, not be too bulky, not be too small, don't get too muscular, don't get too lean, don't get too whatever. And my biggest why when I started bodybuilding, honestly, it was to get shredded. And then I tried to prep, I failed at it, and I kind of just readjusted. I was like, why? Okay, so I want to be competitive. Well, that's good. I want to actually change who I am. I'm sick of making excuses, and that was it. I was sick of making excuses. And then once I got started, I heard so many women telling me, you know, those things that I said, don't get bulky, don't get this, don't get that. And I was like, you know what? As a woman, I want to be me. I want to do what I want to do. I feel beautiful when I do this. I feel beautiful when I get on stage covered in a brownish orange spray tan with gloss all over me in a sparkly bikini. Like, I feel beautiful. It's a fitness girl beauty pageant. And I love it. I love going through a prep because I change each time. I have such a different outlook on life, on who I am, on my friends, on everything else. It's very life-changing. And so, like I said, if your why is to just get shredded, I ask you to sit down, talk to somebody about it, kind of talk through it and see what your big why is. And like I said, if it's getting shredded, just do a lifestyle cut. It'll be a lot more fun, it'll be a little bit easier, and it's not gonna be as demanding. Second thing is gonna be finding a coach. So, I have a few bullet points for this, bear with me. Finding a coach is a big deal and it can be very stressful, I understand that. I got kind of lucky when it came to my coach, so I have a few, like I said, bullet points to help you find a coach. First thing is, do you want a person that is in person or online? So you want to see, do you want to be able to see this person all the time, or are you okay not seeing this person all the time? I personally have done both. My first coach, I worked out at his gym. I saw him every single day. He did everything in person. And then my second prep was online. Both were fine. There was no problems. They both had different coaching styles. And so that's one thing you want to think of. Do you want to be able to sit and talk to this person face to face, or do you not mind only being able to text them, call them, Skype them, whatever it may be? Second thing, do you want macros or meal plan? There are certain coaches that will only provide macros, and then there's certain coaches that will do either or, and then there's some coaches that will only do a meal plan. That's another thing you want to think about. Macros or meal plan, honestly, close to the same thing. Most meal plans are based off of a macro count anyways. The main thing that the meal plan will do is it will help take a lot of the guessing work out. You're not gonna have to figure out what you're eating that day. They're just gonna tell you. I do meal plan because I am lazy and I don't wanna have to think about what to eat every day, but that's just me. In off season, I do macros because it's a lot more free. I can eat, let's say if I want to eat Oreos, I can eat the Oreos, versus a meal plan, it's a lot more structured for me, and it helps me to not try to fit in Halo Top or, like I said, Oreos or whatever. Third thing, do you want to take drugs or do you want to be natural? And I don't say that to be mean. I am so honest. There are so many people, especially in the NPC. Now, if you're doing like a natural federation or something like that, obviously you don't want to do drugs. But in the NPC, a lot of people take drugs to get on stage. And like I said in one of my Q&As, I did my first prep, I did Anavar for 3 weeks. But my second prep, I had a coach that she was 100% natural. I didn't take pre-workout. All I took was a fat burner once a day. And so it just depends on which side you want to go on. And if you do want to do drugs, that's something you want to talk to your coach about and let them know how far you want to go with it. But especially for a woman, you don't really need to take a lot. The two things that you might need to take, and I said might, not 100% you have to take this. It's going to, like I said, talk to your coach about it, because depending on your starting point, certain things aren't going to really help you very much. But two things most recommended for women are going to be clenbuterol and Anavar. Personally, like I said, I've taken Anavar. I haven't fully decided on this next prep if I'm going to do the clen or not, but people do it, and don't feel bad about it. You should be able to be very open and honest with your coach. Don't ever hide anything from them. So if you want to take drugs or if you want to be natural, that's another thing to think about when you speak to your coach. Ask them about their response time. How long is it going to take them to respond to you whenever you reach out to them? Now, my first coach, I absolutely love him. I still talk to him every day. I work out with him all the time. He has a long response time, sometimes 2 to 3 days. And so that's why I liked having him in person, because I can be like, hey bro, I texted you like 3 days ago and you didn't send me anything. And so ask them what the response time is. This past coach I had, she was 24 hours, which is good. Some people are a few hours, and I mean, if I texted her, she would try to get back to me as quickly as she could. But they have a life. So you want to see, if you're someone who's very high strung and you want to be able to have quick access to them, that's something to take into consideration, is how long will it take them to answer your question or to send you whatever you're waiting for. Talk to them about how long of a prep do they want you on. Now, if they tell you that they want you to do like a 6-month prep, no, you don't need to be in a caloric deficit that long. So just see how long of a prep they want you to take. Most of the time it's going to be anywhere from 12 to 20 weeks. I know that is a broad spectrum. I did 9 weeks actually my first prep. I had been prepping myself, and then I got a coach and he took over those last 9 weeks because I kind of realized I didn't know what I was doing closer to show. And so I did a 9-week prep. Luckily I was already at a decent starting point when I got with him. And so then the second prep, I did a 20-week prep, which I really liked both. The 9-week prep was just a lot more intense. We had to up the cardio very quickly. We had to lower the calories very quickly. Versus the 20-week prep, it was very gradual. I started out with 20 minutes of cardio a day, slowly added it in, getting it higher, slowly was able to drop down the calories, have more cheat meals, stuff like that. So it just depends on the coach and how long they want you to be prepping. Also, beware of bro science. If you are like me, I'm about 150 to 155 pounds. I stay in that range. And so let's say you weigh 150 pounds, you're a female, I'm 5'4". Now, if I go to a coach and they put me on 200 plus grams of protein, I'm gonna laugh. And I'm gonna say, no, I'm not eating that much protein. It's not gonna happen. So like little things like that, like some coaches will ask you to cut out salt. No, you don't need to cut out salt. Your body needs sodium in it to function. Your kidneys need salt to function. And so like little things like that, just have a general base knowledge of what's healthy for your body. Granted, a prep is not completely healthy, but know what is needed for your body to work optimally. So I always tell people, if you have only been working out for like 6 months, maybe not the best idea to do a prep. Work out longer, get to know your body. Because for both of my coaches, they would tell me to do something, and if I knew my body wouldn't react to it, honestly, I wouldn't do it. Yes, they're my coach, and yes, I trust them, but I also know my body well enough to know what's going to work and what's not going to work for me. And so beware of bro science. Kind of know what's going to help you, what's not going to help you, what has been debunked by science, different things of that nature. And lastly, when you're looking for a coach, talk to their existing athletes or athletes that have already left them. That way they can kind of give you a good idea of how the coach was, how they felt on stage, how they felt at whatever point you want to talk to them about. Most of the time athletes won't care. They'll just kind of let you know, oh yeah, he was this way or she was this way, or whatever it is. So reach out to the athletes. I know when I was looking for a coach at first, I ended up talking to 4 different girls about the coach, and I ended up being really good friends with all 4 of them. I still talk to them here and there to this day. Just kind of brought me new people. It was really cool. And so don't be afraid to reach out to people, because they just want to help you. That's all they're going to do. They're going to answer your questions, and especially if it's a good coach. Now, if it's not a good coach, right there, you don't even have to do the research. You just talk to one person, maybe 2 or 3. I wouldn't talk to just one. I would talk to like 2 or 3 different ones, because that one person might not have followed their diet or whatever. So yes, talk to their athletes. Now, know that prep is extremely time demanding, extremely. People think it's just, oh, you work out and you eat good and you do some cardio. Okay, but depending on how much weight you have to lose and depending on your coach, you could be doing up to 1.5 hours of cardio a day. And then on top of that, you have your workout, which is going to take about 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So that's 3 hours of your day in the gym. Now, think about it. One of those cardio sessions may be a fasted session. So you're going to get up, go to the gym in the morning, do your cardio, go home, get ready, pack your meals for the day, go to work, whatever, and then you have to go from work straight back to the gym, work out, do your cardio, eat, all of this stuff. People don't realize how time demanding it is, because you have to prep your meals every single day. Because whenever you go out and, like, let's say I'm on prep and I decide, I've seen this all the time, people want to go to Chipotle. They think Chipotle is an equivalent option to prep food. Maybe the rice is, but everything else is cooked in oils and grease, and that adds a lot of fats to what you're eating. And so little things like that, it's not something you just like stop by anywhere and get food. You're actually going to have to be prepping your meals throughout the whole entire prep. So if you're at a 20-week prep, that's 20 weeks of prepping all of your food. And so just know the time demand that it takes. Sorry. Dude, look what my sister got me. This is like, it's so me, guys. She knows how much I love mermaids. Super cute. Anyways, hydration. Okay, last thing I have to say is know that prepping is very, very selfish. And people are like, what? But you have to realize you are spending all this time on yourself, and it's not a bad thing. Like I said earlier, I love prepping. I love who it makes me become. I love what I learned from it every single time. But prep is very selfish. You have to spend, like I said, all that time in the gym. You're spending all that time and money on your meal prep and in the kitchen and at the grocery store and everything else. And sometimes it can reflect on your relationships. I know this last prep, I actually struggled a little bit with some of my friendships. I got really closed off for a little while, because towards the end, you just start to get so focused on the show that you kind of just, everything starts to kind of fade away at that point. And it did affect some of my relationships. I talked to the people, I apologized. But know that prep can be extremely, extremely selfish, guys. And that's something that, let's say you're married or in a relationship or whatever it may be, this person's gonna need to have your back 110%. They're gonna need to support you through it. They're gonna need to help you through it, because there's gonna be days where you will need help. And if they don't have your back, that's gonna make it a lot harder. It's gonna add a lot of stress that you don't really need, because when you're stressed, you hold weight, and then it makes the prep really hard. And so know that whoever's in your life, they need to support you. I'm very fortunate. I do live with my father. A lot of the time he would end up doing my dishes. He would help me with my dog. He would, do whatever I needed him to do, because he knew how low my energy was. He knew how much I was putting towards the show. He knew I was working 2 jobs. I was in school. So he knew what I was demanding of myself, and he took it upon himself to alleviate whatever he could for me. Now, I'm not saying someone needs to do that for you, but just, you need them to have your back. It makes it a lot easier. It takes a lot of stress off of you, and it can help the relationship a little bit more. And who knows, maybe it'll make y'all stronger as a couple or as a friend or whatever it may be. So yes, those are my tips for a bodybuilding show. If you have any questions, like, comment, subscribe, share, leave them down below. I love to answer your questions. I've had some people reach out on Instagram asking me just like random questions about competing and stuff like that. Ask away, guys. If I get enough questions, I can do a whole nother video on competing. So I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are doing a show this year, let me know which show you're doing down below, and I hope you kick some butt. And I will see y'all in the next video.